Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Self-Made Podcast. I'm your host, Chloe Turcha, and today is another solo episode. Like most weeks, I like to kind of do a little debrief of my week. If you're new here, a lot of my podcasts aren't very structured. I kind of just turn on the podcast and I chat, and you guys are kind of like my diary, my journal, but like a verbal, and I just share it with the world. But I think it's working. I like it. I feel like a lot of you can relate and can connect, and I like to be open on here, and I like to be kind of like that big sister or that best friend who you can just kind of vent to. A lot of you guys DM me, and like we have like like you guys come to me for real life advice, and like that means a lot that you guys like trust me and you want to come to me, and I do my best to give you guys my best advice or like kind of what I would do in the situation, because again, I don't know all of your situations, to detail, but I don't know, you guys do a lot for me, and so I feel like I like sharing a lot of my experiences because I kind of feel like that's what I'm called to do. A lot of challenges that I go through, I feel like God puts me through things to learn and then to share. And that's kind of what I'm doing. And so this episode is very much from the heart. This is kind of a vulnerable episode. And it's really just because I've had kind of a tough week. And oftentimes I feel like on my podcast or on my platforms or anywhere, I like to be a light. I like to be a positive influence, and I like to share all the good. But again, like that's not all the time. Like I'm not always having great days. I'm not always having great weeks. And I feel like I've had more joy in my life than I ever have before. And I think all of that stems from my relationship with with Christ. And I'm so thankful for that. But again, too, just because I have that doesn't mean I don't still struggle, but it does help the struggle, and it's made it a lot easier. But let me tell y'all, this week has been a week. I feel like I could probably cry on this episode, and that's crazy because my eyes are watering. I don't know why I'm so emotional. Like, I don't know. I can't explain it. I have not yet figured out what it is. But you guys, I haven't cried probably more than, I don't know if I have cried since living here in Arizona, and I have cried every single day. It's Tuesday. I've cried every day since like Friday. Not like a big cry, but like I'll get choked up. I've been having some like harder conversations this week, and I feel like I'm just very emotional. I'm also very in my luteal phase right now, and I think that's a huge component. And I'm pretty sure I'm not super well versed on like the cycle syncing and like hormones and the different phases, but if I'm correct, I'm pretty sure that, oh my gosh, okay, another thing is I always yawn when I podcast. I don't know why. I'm not tired. Like I podcast, record at all different hours of the day. Sometimes it's morning, sometimes it's afternoon. Right now it's 5 p.m. Like all different hours of the day, and I'm yawning. Anyway, sorry about that. But something with the cycles I've learned is like sometimes you're more primed to like have conversations, and sometimes you're more primed to like deeply think and be like intuitive, and it's not your luteal phase. I know that is not the phase where you're typically wanting to like be very social and be very outgoing. And that's hitting me hard this week. Like I haven't had the desire to be like super talkative or make a bunch of content. I've just kind of been tired and just kind of like, I don't know, more kept to myself. But I've been very emotional this week, and I've had a lot of anxiety, more than ever. And I do think I kind of know what it stems from. I've done a lot of like thinking and processing and having conversations and just praying about it. But like example, Easter Sunday morning, I went to bed with a lot of kind of anxiety and like anxious feelings and thoughts and stuff, just with stuff going on in my life, which I'll talk about a little later. But I woke up and I kind of felt, okay, so there's one other occurrence, and this is actually really important to note. So probably a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago, the guy I'm seeing right now, we were on a walk. We were doing my walk for the 75 hard. It was late at night, and I'm pretty sure it was like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, because I had to get it in, and we were busy all that night. And we're walking, and he starts picking my brain about certain things about myself. And like I always say, like I hate dancing, I'm a bad dancer. I think this is right when this is interesting how it's all like kind of connected. So we were talking about the wedding. I'm going to a wedding this week, and this is where a lot of anxiety is stemming from. He invited me to be like his plus one at a wedding. And I was telling him, I'm like, I don't like to dance. I don't like to be the center of attention, which people are shocked that I'm like not super outgoing, and I can be when I know you and when I'm comfortable, or if it's in an environment that I'm like comfortable in, like say it's a gym event, or say it's me going on someone's podcast. Like those are environments that I'm comfortable in. I know those environments. I can be social. But if you put me in a room full of people I don't know, doing something I'm unfamiliar with, like, I am in a shell. Maybe that's everyone, I don't know, but like, it's really hard for me. And so him and I were talking because he was inviting me to this wedding. He's like, we're gonna dance, and he's like a dancer. He's super extroverted, super outgoing. He loves to dance. Like, he'll like slow dance, swing dance, line dance, do funny dances and stuff, and like, I don't do any of it. I don't. And so I was telling him that I'm like, I don't know how much fun of a wedding date I'm gonna be. Like, I'll try my best, like, I'll really try to pull it out of me, but like, one, I don't want to rely on alcohol to like have me let loose and dance. Will I have a drink? Maybe. Like, one, I'm not gonna like get drunk. That's in the Bible, to not become a drunken. Like, I have no desire to do that. Will I have maybe a glass of wine with dinner? Maybe. But like, I don't drink really. Like, I don't drink with the intention to get drunk, but like, in the setting of a wedding, I feel like that's kind of an appropriate time for me to like have a glass of wine if I want one. And we'll see. I don't know. Maybe I won't want one. But anyway, what I was saying is, we were talking about dancing and doing all this stuff, and he kind of started like asking me questions, and he's very like observant, and this is why I really respect him, because I've never met somebody who can like really sit and have these conversations with me. And this is, you guys, I want you to know, like, have these people in your life. It's so important, where they like want you to be better, and they want to like learn about you, and they want you to learn about you. And so he's asking me these questions, and he's like, why don't you like dancing? Like, do you care too much about what, I made a whole episode kind of based on this. He's like, do you care too much about what people think? And I was like, no, it's like what I think of myself. And anyway, this conversation was making me like really uncomfortable, because I was really having to like dig deep and like uncover some stuff that I had honestly just like, I'd known, but like never acknowledged enough, because it made me uncomfortable to acknowledge. So I'd brush it off and not think about it. I'm sure many of you guys have like an example. It might not be dancing in front of people. Maybe it is something like that, where, I don't know. I just like have never really had the conversation, especially with somebody. And so he was asking me these questions, and I was just kind of shutting down. I was getting uncomfortable, and my chest started to get tight, and I was like walking, and I'm like, what's going on? And I didn't really like say anything, but I was like in my head, like, why is literally like, if you're watching this, it was like right above, like, it's right in the upper chest. I don't know, like between my boobs kind of. And I was like, what the heck? And I started grabbing it, and he's like, is your chest, like, are you good? And I was like, dude, my chest is getting so tight. Like, I feel like it's going to cramp up. Like, that's the best way I can describe it. And he was like, that's anxiety. Like, are you like, I was like, on the onset, I think of like a panic attack. And I was like, what the heck? Nothing had like happened like that ever. You guys, like, I've never had anxiety like that. I've never felt that feeling. And I was like, what the heck? That's really weird. And it was literally stemming from having an uncomfortable conversation that was like causing anxiety. Anyway, so that was like a month and a half ago. Fast forward to this past weekend. The wedding is this Friday. It's Tuesday. It's this Friday. So, for context, this is like, it's a wedding in Texas, in Dallas, Texas. It's like a Western country themed wedding. Like, the cowgirl, or the bride's invite, she's wearing cowgirl boots. He's wearing a hat. My date, like, he's wearing jeans, a suit jacket, and like a cowboy hat. Like, it's a country wedding. I don't know if y'all know me. I mean, I'm sure all of you probably do, but I'm not like a country girl. I talked about on my episode how wearing cowgirl boots makes me uncomfortable, and I've been working avidly on becoming comfortable in them, and I have made progress. I just feel like my legs look weird because I have very muscular legs, and I feel like they just aren't flattering on me. I don't know. But it's something I'm trying to like get over, because I'm like, it's really just me. Like, everyone I've met is like, no, they look fine. Like, you're being so hard on yourself. Like, no one's thinking that. Anyway, my date really wants me to wear cowgirl boots, and I want to wear them because I want to like fit the theme. I don't want to show up and like miss the memo, you know, like, it's a Western. If I was the bride and I was having a wedding, I'd want everyone to like wear accordance to like the theme, you know? And so the past like, oh my gosh, a week, I ordered 2 dresses like a month ago. I thought I was on top of it. They came in, and they just look awful with the boots. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, one's way too formal, and then one of them, the height just like doesn't align with the boots. And I'm like panicking, and I'm like causing all this anxiety, causing all this stress. And I'm like, what in the heck? Like, why can't I just like freaking wear one of these dresses? And so I'm like going through my closet. I have a friend trying to help me, and we kind of come up with something, but I still don't like love it. It just doesn't feel right. And so I'm like so anxious. I'm like, I don't have a dress. I have 2 country festivals coming up, like right when I get back, and then a week later. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, I have to figure something out with this country theme. And then it dawned on me, and I said, Chloe, this is literally what you've been praying about. You have been praying for God to put you in situations to make you uncomfortable, to grow, and to learn that it's really not that scary. And I was like, dang, like I really was praying for this, and I'm really going through it, and it's not easy, you guys. It is not easy. It has caused so much stress and anxiety, and I know it sounds so little, but like it is this like ongoing stress and anxiety, because I'm already nervous to go to this wedding, because it's the first time me and the guy I'm seeing are like publicly going out together to like an event. Two, I've been to like 2 weddings in my entire life. This will be the 3rd. So I'm not even that well versed in like how weddings go. 3 or 4, I don't even know what I'm at. I don't know anybody. So I'm showing up to this wedding not knowing anyone, which I know a lot of people probably bring dates who don't like haven't met their friends and stuff, because it's like a friend from college of his. But I'm like, it's just so much. And then on top of it, I find out there's like a pre-dinner before the wedding, the night before, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I have another birthday dinner the night before we leave for the trip with him and all of his friends. And like, I'm so excited to meet his friends. Like, that's amazing. That's so fun. That's part of like the fun, exciting part of like dating. But I'm like, oh my gosh, like it's nerve wracking. Like the first dates are nerve wracking enough, let alone like meeting their friends, meeting their family. Like it's a lot on me. Okay. So all this is like snowballing. Anyway, Easter morning, this is all still like billowing up inside of me. Hadn't found a dress, hadn't found nothing. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I wake up, my alarm goes off to get ready for church because our service was that morning. And I go to grab my phone, like on my nightstand, and I turn and my chest like cramps up. And I was like, oh my gosh, weird. So I like lay back down. I'm like, what is going on? And I hadn't felt like that feeling in a long time. I didn't realize what it was at first. And then I lay there for a second, like pushing on my chest. I'm like, what's going on? Oh, excuse me. I'm like kind of like trying to like massage on my chest, like what is going on? And then I'm like, okay, I grab my phone again. It cramps up again. I just like lay there and I'm like panicking. I'm like, what is happening? Am I gonna have like a heart attack or something? And then it kind of dawned on me. I'm like, Chloe, I think this is anxiety. And I was talking to him about it and he was like, no, that's like anxiety. I was like kind of panic attack. And I was like, oh my gosh, I am causing this much stress on my life and it's all self-induced. Like, what's the worst that's gonna happen? Like, truly, I have to sit and think about that. I'm like, it's gonna be fine. Anyway, I've just like been super anxious about all that. And then on top of like my luteal phase, I'm tired and I'm just not really motivated and kind of like in a weird rut at the gym. Like a lot of things are just really misaligned right now. And I was really, really off. But I'm like, you know what? Like it's kind of crazy because like diving more into my faith and like understanding God and the way he works and stuff. It's like he's working on me and it's like these really low moments. It's like something's being worked on, something's being like created, and he's what's the word? I can't think. He's chiseling away at me right now. He's like creating something to like level up. And literally at a sermon like a couple weeks ago, he was saying like, if you're up here, if everything is fine and dandy, feeling good, feeling great, like life couldn't be better, he's like, just wait. Like God will humble you. God will like, it will probably come crashing down because then it's time to like recreate and like level up and God's going to work on you. And like, as like scary as that is, it's so true because this week I'm like saying, like I uncovered a lot about myself, the way I like respond to stress and respond to situations like this. And like this is part of adulting, like I have to get used to it. And like I asked for it. Like I literally asked God to help me become better at becoming uncomfortable, and he blessed me with 3 events in April, every weekend besides one. And I actually got invited to like some event at Coachella, so I could have went all 4 weekends to like a festival of some sort where I wear cowgirl boots and I wear these clothes that I'm not comfortable in and I'm dancing around and I'm singing, and those are all things that I claimed like I just didn't like and didn't do, and I'm doing them, and I'll keep y'all updated on how it goes. But like it is crazy when you like just like slow down and think and process instead of just like letting it. Oh my gosh, what the heck? I am so tired. I don't know, I'm so tired. I'm literally not that tired. Clearly I am, but like I'm not. But like it's just really, it does help you get through those things a lot better when you can like pray about it. And I'm like, God, please like give me more calmness, give me more peace going into this. Like give me a sign it's going to be okay. Like give me a word. Like I prayed about finding a dress, and today, like, thank God. So because I have like 4 dresses upstairs. I have one from Amazon, and it like could have worked, but it looks really cheap. And I'm like, I'm not going to feel confident in that. Because like you want to feel good in uncomfortable situations. So I'm like, if I don't even feel good in what I'm wearing, oh Lord, help me. Like it's just not going to be a fun night for me. So I really wanted to find a dress. And so today I went on a run, and then I went dress shopping, and one of my girlfriends came with me. And I had like 100 dresses now. I had probably like 6 to 8 dresses, and I tried one on and one just like worked. And I'm like, this is so perfect. It's so me, but it's still giving Western. I could probably wear my boots with it. I haven't yet put them on yet with it, but like they were it worked. And I was like, God, thank you. Like I prayed and he delivered, and I knew like every situation too, it's like when you pray and you trust in God, it's like, you know, he's going to get you through it, and you know it's going to be fine. And a lot of the times, I always say this, but I'm like, anxiety is you doubting God's plan. And like, you have to have trust in God. And like, I went on my run today and I was thinking about that, and I was like, God, like, I know I'm doubting you and I'm sorry, but I'm like working through it, and I'm like aware that I am. And I'm not even like doubting him. It's just really my own insecurities being like, what if people don't like me? What if I'm not social enough? Like, what if I can't think of anything to say to these people? What if I can't get myself to dance? But it's like, you're gonna be fine. Like, it's gonna be fine. I'll probably meet a friend. I'll probably like have fun with him. I'm like, this is so fun. Like, weddings are a blast, and it's gonna be so cool to meet new people. I'm going to a fun city. Like, me and him are traveling for the first time together. Like, I'm meeting his friends. It's like a big step in like being with somebody. And so I'm like, there's so many benefits, but I was letting like the enemy work his magic, you know, not magic, was just his nastiness, and like creating all this anxiety to like deter me from all the beautifulness of this trip and all the fun. And it's like, just, if I didn't have that relationship with God, like, I literally don't think I would have went on this trip. Like, I have had a lot of anxiety. Like, it's like overtaking me, you guys. And again, it's not just from this. There's other things that are going on that I'm just like not going to talk about on here, that are just like personal stuff. But this is like the main thing, I would say. And so I was listening to Save Not Soft podcast by Emmy Moore, and she was talking about how her and her boyfriend, they were doing distance, and the day they started dating, God, the enemy and God, whoever, was like really testing them, like trying to see if they could get through it. Like, she said like the darkest things kind of like came out in their like relationship and like in their lives, and they had to like face that with each other and get through it. And she's like, but that was the test, to be like, are we going to make it through this? Like, are we meant to be? Like, it really just put their relationship to the test, to the ultimate test, and they got through it. And she was like, literally they started dating that night. The next morning this happened. And I'm like, me and this guy I'm seeing are kind of at that point where like that's our next step. And I just feel like this was God kind of testing us recently on like how I can handle this, you know, and if this is right, and if this is ready. And I've gotten through it, you know, and it's like kind of reassuring too in relationships, because it's scary to get new relationships and stuff. But I don't know, I just think that there's like so much more to like situations when you actually step back, slow down, process them, and like handle them. And another thing I did too, like just on the realm of like anxiety, like having a lot of anxiousness and a lot of nerves and stuff, is the one thing I do is like, I really focus on controlling what I can control, and like creating the best version of myself and doing things that make me feel really good and calm. So this morning I got up when my alarm went off. I wasn't hitting snooze. I wasn't laying in bed, because that creates guilt, and that creates like a lower level of confidence within myself, because I like don't get up when I like wanted to and when I needed to. So today I got up with my alarm, and I came down, I made my coffee, which a lot of people are like, caffeine isn't great when you have anxiety, which it's not, but I just have one latte. Like, I haven't had a second caffeine. Maybe that's why I'm yawning. The last few days I've only had my coffee in the morning at like 6 or 7. And now I'm yawning again. Okay. But like, I don't have any more caffeine, and it helps with my anxiety, definitely. I've had to do that before. This summer I got really, really anxious before the move, and I went on a caffeine cleanse. Didn't want to commit to that yet, but I did lower my intake. And then I got up and I read my Bible, and I read my book. It's the Atomic Habits book, and I journaled and I did my stuff, and that really grounds me. And like, I think one of the reasons too, maybe my anxiety stemming, is because I'm off the 75 hard, so I'm really out of a routine, and I'm kind of creating a new one. So I'm not super settled, but I did all of that, and then I went on a run. And the run, like, I don't know, I've been in a rut with training recently, like I was kind of mentioning, and I just like haven't been motivated to run. I think it's because I don't have something to train for. Like, I don't have a race. I am running the Boulder half marathon in September, actually. Wanted to tell you all about that. If you want to run with me, use code Chloe, and you can save $20 off registration for the half or the full. But we can run it together. I'm going to be there with my friend Caitlin Miller. It's going to be so fun. We have a whole podcast episode on running, but we're doing it together. Well, not running it together. She'll run much faster than me, but we'll both be in Boulder. It's going to be a blast. We're doing Run Club, like a pre-run, the shakeout run the day before. We'll be at the race. I'll be in Boulder for a few days. It's going to be so much fun. But I do have that coming up, but that's not until September, so I'm not training for anything technically right now. I'm just running to run. But I'm just like in a weird position with training. Like, I was talking to the guy I'm seeing, and I was like, I just don't know. Like, I don't want to go to the gym. Like, I don't want to lift again. Like, I don't have a muscle group to hit. Like, I don't feel like running. Like, I don't know what I want to do. And he was like, well, like, what are your goals right now? Like, create this. And he was like picking my brain about it. And it was just, I'm like, I don't know why I'm feeling like this. But I went on a run today and I ran 6 miles, and like, it was so therapeutic, you guys. Like, I think I'm kind of convinced it was like spiritual warfare, or like the enemy like trying to stop me from this run, because I always feel so close to God on my runs, and I always like become so calm and I feel so much better. And like, obviously they're a little painful sometimes. Like, running isn't like super fun all the time, don't get me wrong, but like, I listened to a podcast, I listened to the Girls Gone Bible podcast, and it was just like so what I needed, and it really grounded me. And just being outside in the sun, getting a sweat, getting a good run in, like 6 miles is like pretty good distance for me right now. It's like a longer run. And I just felt good, and I was like, I really needed that. And then I went to like the mall and went shopping and found my dress, and it was just like exactly what I needed to do. And so really just like focusing on what I can control and doing the things that do fulfill me, and like reading my Bible and praying and listening to worship music, like all those things have been helping a lot. And the thing is too, like, the few days I didn't read my Bible this week were days I had anxiety, or the days I didn't like eat my normal meals and eat right and work out and exercise and take care of my body. It elevated my anxiety. And so it's like, I need to remember that and remind myself of that. A lot of those moments where you don't feel like, you're just tired and you're anxious and you don't want to go to the gym, maybe go for a walk, or go on a jog, or do whatever makes you feel good, and like eat right and eat well. Like, don't just like snack or skip meals or do whatever, like eat normally. And I promise you, like, that will just add another level of like, for me, it just like adds more confidence and more security in myself, and that helps a lot. So yeah, I don't know about that. That was, I just talked, and that really did come from the heart. But that's kind of been my last few days, and it's just been interesting. I'm glad I didn't cry. I guess I didn't really get too like vulnerable about anything, but no, I've just been kind of emotional. But again, too, I think it's because I'm kind of stepping more into my feminine, and I'm like accepting emotions and feelings, and I'm learning how to handle my emotions rather than just like pushing them away and pushing them down. I think having more of a Christian community of people, and like having a relationship with God, and seeing the guy I'm seeing, like, he puts me more into my feminine, and I'm not used to that. And so it's definitely like shifted my emotions and the conversations I'm having, and the conversations I'm having with myself, and it's just like transforming me. And again, that's just God chiseling away and working his magic. But I don't know. It's been an interesting week for sure, but it's like all good things. See, like, it is all good things. And I'm learning how to like navigate those and stuff. So if any of you are stressed or anxious, or just like not feeling like yourself, I highly recommend just like hopping back into your routine and like doing the best you can, and like talking to someone about it, praying about it, read your Bible. Like, he will deliver, and he will get you through it. Like, God isn't going to put you anything he can't get you through, and I promise you that. And that's what I'm reminding myself of going through this trip. Literally, as a podcast, and I think this was from God sent. Literally, not my podcast, I was scrolling TikTok right before I filmed this, and it was literally a podcast of this girl being like, but what if it goes well? What if it goes better than you can even imagine? And she was like talking like, often we think things are going to go bad, and we assume the worst, and we assume all of this stuff. And I'm like, that's literally me. Like, I'm assuming the worst in this wedding. She's like, but what if it goes amazing? Like, what if this unlocks something new? What if this is like a breakthrough for you? What if this like is so much fun? And it literally was like speaking to me, like telling me exactly what I wanted to hear. And I was like, wow. And it really gave me like a lot of peace. And like, God will kind of sprinkle those things into your life too. And so, yeah, I don't know. I feel even just after talking about it with you guys, it like eases my anxiety. So like talking to people is very helpful, or journaling. But yeah, don't be afraid to express your emotions. Like, I've cried a few times and it felt good. And I'm like, I don't know why I suppressed that so much, because it's not healthy. I don't know where I learned that. Like, growing up, it wasn't like ever like frowned upon in my household. I just never did. So I don't know what's going on. But anyway, I'm going to end the episode here. Pray for me. Wish me the best of luck. Actually, when you guys hear this, I'll already be home from the trip. So hopefully this goes well. I know it will. God's on my side, so it'll go well. But I love you guys so much, and we will chat next week. Bye, guys.